Welcome to another Pacbrake install video. Today we are installing an Pacbrake Alpha HD HP10604 air suspension spring on a 2023 Toyota Tundra. Please note that this video is intended as a visual aid supplement to your printed installation guide. You must read and complete all steps as printed in your printed install guide, as it is the only complete source of all safety information and warnings to keep you and your vehicle safe during the install. To begin, ensure you have all parts and tools required for installation. This air spring, like all Pacbrake Alpha HD kits, is rated up to 5,000 pound load and is the only air spring on the market with inch-thick aluminum end caps that will never leak, never rust, and 20 support wires around the bag to prevent blowouts. This kit also comes with a limited lifetime warranty. Let's begin the install. Park the vehicle on a level surface. Remove any unnecessary weight from the vehicle to attain a normal ride height. This is important for correct initial air spring setup and adjustment. Note the ride height for all four corners by using a measuring tape to measure the distance between the center of the wheel hub and the bottom of the fender well. Check the clearance between the outside of the frame and the inside of the tire meets the minimum of 5 inches required for air spring clearance. Place wheel chocks in front of and behind both front wheels. Raise the rear of the truck and remove rear wheels. Next, we'll remove the jounce bumpers. Remove the 3 12mm hex head bolts securing the jounce bumpers in place. Note that 2 of the bolts are found on the underside of the frame and the third is on the side of the frame. Now we'll detach the e-brake cable. Remove the factory bolt that secures the e-brake cable to the axle. There is one on both sides of the vehicle. Attach upper bracket to frame. Start by attaching the upper frame bracket to the frame of the vehicle by threading the M8 flange hex head cap screw into the side of the frame, but do not fully tighten. With the upper frame bracket still hanging loose, position the bracket for installation of the bottom of the 2 M8 screws into the underside of the frame. Center the upper frame bracket over the rear axle and torque down the bottom 2 hex head screws to 24 Newton meters or 18 foot-pounds. Then secure the first flange hex head cap screw to 24 Newton meters, 18 foot-pounds on the side of the frame. Now we'll build the air spring assembly. Place a roll plate on the bottom side of the airbag, lining up the holes with the threaded holes on the bottom of the airbag. Insert the 2 long carriage bolts into lower bracket. Install the lower bracket onto the bottom of the roll plate and air spring using 2 3/8 inch x 3/4 inch button head cap screws. Torque to 27 Newton meters or 20 foot-pounds. Install the air fitting into the larger of the 3 holes in the top of the airbag. Note that some fittings have sealant pre-applied to the threads. If the threads have no visible coating, apply thread sealant or Teflon tape. Thread the fitting finger tight, plus another 1.5 to 2 turns. Place a roll plate on top of the air spring assembly, lining up the holes with the threaded holes on the top of the airbag. Install the shorter carriage bolts into the top bracket. Position the top bracket and install 2 3/8 inch x 3/4 inch button head cap screws. Torque to 27 Newton meters or 20 foot-pounds. Let's install the airbags. Position the air spring assembly on the top of the axle, ensuring that the airbag is positioned correctly within the upper airbag's bracket slots. A correctly positioned airbag sits straight up and down. It is not leaning or skews to the side to fit within the airbag bracket slots. If the airbag is not positioned correctly, loosen the 2 3/8 inch button head screws securing the top bracket to the top of the airbag. Reposition correctly and retorque to 27 Newton meters or 20 foot-pounds. Install the locking flange nuts on the shorter carriage bolts to secure the top bracket to the upper frame bracket by torquing to 42 Newton meters or 31 foot-pounds. The next step is to install the axle strap. Position the axle strap underneath the axle and pass the lower carriage bolts through the 2 slots. Install the nylon flange nuts onto the carriage bolts and tighten evenly. When the axle strap and lower airbag bracket are snugged up to the axle, torque the axle strap nuts to 22 Newton meters or 16 foot-pounds. Repositioning the brake lines. Remove the original brake line retaining clips and flip them around so that the brake lines are held closer to the axle. If the brake lines are still contacting the carriage bolt, make a small bend in the line to ensure it's not making contact. Now you'll need to repeat these steps on the other side of the vehicle. To finish the install, we'll need to reinstall the air lines and check the system for leaks. To reinstall the e-brake, reuse the OEM M8 bolt that was used to secure the e-brake cable to the axle, along with the M8 lock nut and washer, and attach the brake cable to tab found on the air spring assembly's lower bracket. For the airline, the most common place to install is in place of license plate fasteners. Cut the airline assembly into 2 equal lengths using the provided hose cutter. Install one airline, route the nylon airline to an air spring fitting and cut the hose. Moisten the end of the airline prior to inserting it into the fitting and push it until it stops. Repeat with the other fill valve. Secure airlines using the tie straps away from moving items and heat sources. Place a 5/16 inch nut on the air valve. Leave enough of the inflation valve in front of the nut to extend through the hole. Install a flat washer and 5/16 inch nut and cap. There should be enough valve exposed after installation, approximately a 1/2 inch, to easily apply a pressure gauge or an air chuck. If an in-cab inflation kit is being installed, follow the instructions provided with that kit now. To check the system for leaks, inflate both air springs to 90 psi and then use a mixture of dish soap and water on all airline connections to detect any air leaks. Large expanding bubbles indicate a leak. Repair as necessary and retest. Don't forget, when reinstalling your tires, to torque your lug nuts to spec. Congratulations on installing your HP10604 Alpha HD air suspension spring kit. For the ultimate inconvenience, don't forget our wireless air spring controls. Adjust pressure in your springs with the touch of a button from inside or outside your truck cab. To learn more, please visit www.pacbrake.com. That's PACBRAKE.com.